Thank you, John. That's a perfect song for today. Yeah, it really is, because we will know. And I think we're ready. What do y'all think? Are we one? Are we ready to live? Are we ready to march together? To be together? Make permanent, lasting changes, not only in our own lives, but in our community, bigger world outside. Because there's not a person in here that's too old, too young, too tired. We're all here for a reason. To make a difference. To be that one and no longer live divided. We've been alone for a year, over a year. It's been over a year since we were in this sanctuary together. And thank God we Louisville, a community of East Louisville, those that were able to attend. And there were days when it was really cold and we were out there in our blankets with our hats and our scarves, but we were there and we were together. And there's been a lot of death, a lot of sorrow, a lot of unrest in our families, but in the larger community and in the time for change. And I know that change is hard, but it's the only way we can move through and grow is to move into the challenges and move through it. And I don't know about you all, but I like to move through it with ease and grace, and the only way I know that is to follow Spirit. It's the only way I know how to do it. And so, do we want to get back to normal? I hear this a lot, and I don't. I don't want to go backwards to what we were in the past. I want to go forward into something new and dynamic that works as that love, showing up in unity. How do we do that? I don't have all the answers. But I know that there are a lot of folks out here and out in cyber world that have answers. And collectively, when we come together, we know that there are unlimited possibilities for unity. Now let it go. And see that multiplied 100-fold with joy and enthusiasm. Because we all want that peace. The truth is the love. United together as one people, humanity, moving forward. Into those new possibilities. And that's exciting, right? Living in the flow is not always easy to do, is it? Because you might have to stop really quick and shift and change without even thinking about it, right? How many of you guys have done that recently? Yeah. I do it a lot because I'll have a vision, I'll have something set, and I'm like, okay, this is where this is going to go. And Spirit says, oh, no, we're going to do this. And I'm like, okay, got it. And that's not easy, right? And it's not easy either because I tend to listen to Spirit and don't always communicate really well out in humanity. Y'all noticed that recently? It created some unease, right? And that's okay. It's growth. And that's good. So how do we continue to move into that higher realm of consciousness? Many of you are probably familiar with spiral dynamics, right? The adult stages of consciousness, Kim Weber's work. Okay. So the world right now is evolving at a different rate than it ever has before. And we're continuing to shift from that integral self into that holistic self, right? And what does that mean? The integral self started shifting about 50 years ago, which means that we were beginning to really use that heart and head momentum, that flexibility, and leading with our heart instead of our head. So shifting out of that intellectual self into that heart-led self. You guys are familiar with that in Unity. It's also the stage in which we begin integrating all the different stages of consciousness, right? What we're looking for is that spiral health, that oneness. And we're addressing our inner clarity. So we're becoming real clear in our lives. And a lot of times we're really clear about what we don't want, right? But are we really clear about what it is we do want? That's the key to the shift. What is it that your heart desires? Find it and follow it. It will lead you to magical places. It will lead you to new possibilities. It will lead you to your new life, especially coming out of this last year and integrating back into society, which we have not been in a lot of instances. Now, for some of us, we have. We've continued to work. We've continued to be part of our families. I have. And I've been blessed by that, but others have not. And so we really have to begin to work to move outward again into society because we really pulled in, right? And that's not always easy. But we can't let that fear stop us because that's what happens. So looking for that clarity of the vision for yourself. And it changes as we age and as we grow older and as our families grow up and move away and jobs change, pandemics come in and go out, and they might come back in again. I don't know how familiar you are with the world pandemic, but recently I have a daughter that lives in Canada, and last week they shut down again for another month. So there are still many, many places that are going through the start and stop of life. And we're just starting again. And we don't know what tomorrow brings. But whatever it is, it's going to be good because it's going to be a reminder of what it is that I, and I'm going to speak for myself here, need to follow in my dream and my vision from Spirit. And then, so the holistic self started about 30 years ago. And a lot of you guys are familiar with this one. It's called Oneness. Basic name for it is Oneness, that unity. Where our collective individualism becomes our purpose. That deep experience of oneness is the yearning. Our quest is to restore joy to our lives. How many of you guys want to restore the joy in your lives? Right? Some of you may have never lost it. There are moments when I don't see it. And we want to thrive, right? We don't want to just exist. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to just exist as an individual or as a community or as humanity. I don't want us just to exist. I want us to thrive and to know that God is our source and there are unlimited possibilities. We can and do have the power to create whatever it is that is our vision if we have clarity and we follow Spirit through the process without the fear, but with joy. It's when we do our own deep inner work and we work with that intuitive knowing, the paradox and power of radiance, and we dance with life. And we've all done it, and we do it in a split second sometimes, and then we go back down. It's being able to keep it in the higher self, in that higher consciousness. That's our goal right now, is to shift our own energy into that joyful, restorative life, allowing us to overflow the love and ripple it into the world, and ripple the joy into the world. Because when we are in that spiral and we're coming upward, because that's where we're in that upward trend right now, we carry others with us, right? And so letting people know that unity's open, and some of you guys did this week, and that's why we have so many people here today, is because Leslie and Alan and Steve got on the phone, as well as some other folks, and called you guys and said, hey, we're excited, we're open, this is our home, and we're back. And now it's up to the rest of us to do the same thing. To let your friends know, not just those that you know from Unity, but, and here's the hard part sometimes for us, invite your family. Yeah, I said it. Invite them. All they can do is say no, and that's okay. But let them know that they're welcome here. And if they're not ready to step back in yet, they can watch us online. And they can be a part of a new generation of unity. Whatever that's going to look like, because we get to create it. What this all means is that we have a new beginning. And we are seeing past our cultures. We are seeing past our limitedness in our vision. We are seeing a world united as one, humanity. which brings new perspectives. You know, the new technology that we've been able to utilize this last year in live streaming is going to take us to new dimensions without even being aware of it. And so when we're really aware of it and we use it and we utilize it, the potential is unlimited for us to grow, not only as individuals, but as a community. And I get pretty excited about it because these perspectives are challenging all of our systems. That's why we have social unrest in the world. Not only in the United States, but it's prevalent right now in the United States because of our culture that we were built on. And we have to shift it and change it. We don't have a choice. It has to go. We have a new paradigm coming in. And it's not going to be easy for any of us. And our board took a stand and said, okay, let's look at everything we do. And we're going to look at it through that lens of equity, inclusion, and diversity. And that's not easy. But it's good because it's going to make us grow. We're all going to be challenged by it. I've been challenged by it a few times already. And we're just now coming back together. But it's good. You know, coming through this year of fear and isolation, the social injustice around the world and in our backyard, we are opening to healing those old wounds that we have, for letting our inner child come out and play. Are you willing over these next few weeks to let your inner child come and play? Because that's really where we need to be. Because when we look at things through the eyes of a child, we see the magic, right? How many of you lost the magic of living? Let's get back into that magic through the eyes of that inner child and see God's paintbrush flowing all around us, vibrantly, bringing color and life into our being and into our community. Because we know that when we follow that paintbrush of life into the good, there are no limits. And we can draw whatever it is we choose to create. And it's ours to do. And that's fun, right? Be here. And I've said that more than once, but Jesus said, our oneness will convince the world that God sent him to us and that God loves us, his community here on earth. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. And that's from John 13, 34 through 35. And I'm going to leave you with one other verse. It's from Psalms 133. How very good and pleasant it is when we live a kindred life together in unity. That's the blessing of unity. How very good and pleasant it is when we live a kindred life together in unity. What are you willing to create for yourself and others as we come into unity, into this new dynamic of living? I love you. I bless you. I behold the living Spirit as you. Namaste.